Hello, and welcome to my channel. My name is Kirsty, and I am a nail enthusiast, and I thought I would make a video of me doing my nails. And this is my first video, so for one, be kind. I am not a professional in any way. I just like to do my own nails. So this is between me, between Christmas and New Year's. I decided it was time to take the Christmas nails off and update them with something for New Year's Eve. It was a little bit more glitz and glam. It's not going to be a full-on sort of completely new set, because it wasn't really necessary. So it's really just like a colour change. So here I am. For Christmas I put a fresh set on for Christmas, and obviously I put quite a lot of bling on them. So the first step was really to remove all the sort of stones, which actually was a lot harder than I thought. When I put them on, I thought, oh god, will these last the sort of test of Christmas? And actually they lasted really well. So they actually took quite a long time to hack all that off, so I didn't think I wanted to bore you with all of that. So we've skipped forward to the next stage, which is to just file the nails back and just check that they're all okay, that there hasn't been any lifting, that I don't need to do any replacements, or there haven't been any problems. And this is my new nail dust extractor, which I actually got for Christmas, so I was really excited to use this, as it was a bit of a new toy. I previously just had some sort of desk hoover that I used to have to just hoover up all my rubbish, and it wasn't bad, but you know, I kind of thought it was time to upgrade. So this was just from Amazon. It's just one of the cheap ones. To be fair, they're all in at about the same price. But I think it worked really well. I mean, yeah, there's people sort of say they're a little bit loud. You know, it's gonna be. But it did the job. So here I am, starting with the left hand. I haven't shown the right hand because basically once I do the left hand, I do the right hand, and it's a copy and repeat of what I've just done. So after I've removed all the crystals from the nails, it's time to just take the nails back, like I say, and file them back. The design isn't going to completely come off these nails, because on the thumb and middle finger and little finger, I had actually encapsulated some decals into the nails. And on the index finger and ring finger, I had done an extended nail base with a sort of pink hard gel, and then I had actually used gel polish on the clear tip, and then encapsulated over the top of that. So I'm actually not going to be able to completely get rid of the index or ring finger for a while, until it sort of naturally grows out, or until I sort of maybe take the tips off and then maybe do a completely fresh set, which, to be honest, I don't really tend to do. I tend to, on my own nails, I tend to just do a set, let them grow out before I sort of do a fresh set. I don't tend to do fresh sets on my own nails that frequently, you know. I'm not a sort of nail influencer that uses my hands like that. I do a lot of press on nails, and you feel free to go and check out my Instagram account for all my press on nails that I do, and obviously my Etsy store, which I will leave the link for in the bio. So here we are, onto the little finger. I think the decal did pretty much come off of this one, because it sort of floated to the top a little bit on this finger. When I put the decals on this hand, I didn't think I was going to need any glue. I actually thought I would completely get away with just the naturally tacky surface of the gel, because this was with hard gel. I don't really use acrylic because I just find the smell a bit too strong. So I tend to go with hard gel because I sort of think that it doesn't really smell. So I'd kind of just try to use that natural sticky surface, and it seemed to be working. But when I went to sort of float on the top coat, they just sort of started floating to the top, and then when I was actually doing the filing and the finishing, some of the edges sort of came off. So on the left hand, it was a bit of a sort of, it worked, but some of the edges got filed off a little bit. So when I did the right hand, I did actually use a bit of glue to hold them down and cure them before doing the encapsulating coat, which actually worked a lot better. So I actually think on the left hand, the decals probably will come off quite quickly, because I think by the time I do a real sort of debulk of the gel, take them down to do a proper infill, I think it will probably remove the majority of what's left. But obviously, because I knew that I had the decals on there, and then obviously I had a green finger and a red finger, I was aware that I was going to have to do a fairly dark colour for New Year's Eve. So what you can't see here is what you've just seen me do is then a little bit of a cuticle cleanup, because obviously they were on for maybe just coming up to 2 weeks, so cuticles were sort of needing a little bit. They weren't bad, they just needed a little bit of a tidy up. So just with the e-file there, I just went around with the cuticle bit, sort of took them back, and then with the clippers there, which you can't see, just sort of taking off any really sort of dry bits and tidying up the cuticles. And then finally there, just going in with the sort of buffing the top, just to sort of make sure they're all smooth, before sort of starting on the sort of nail art. Like I said, there wasn't really any need to do a full-on infill. They will need to do an infill, which I might do another video maybe this weekend, of sort of doing a complete sort of take back. But it wasn't totally necessary at this stage. I just kind of wanted to do something quick, freshen them up for New Year's. I wasn't really maybe planning on having them on this design on for maybe more than a week, or maybe even a couple of days. So as you can see there, sort of clean them up, sort of wipe. Now I'm getting, and I will have repeated that on the other hand. So both hands at this point are done. So now we're starting on the nail art. Now, unfortunately, I hadn't realised that when I was editing this, my camera had actually sort of cut out, and it didn't actually finish me getting the sort of very last of the top 2 coats. So I'll have to explain what I've done ahead, because you do see the end result, but unfortunately you don't see everything on the way to get there. But the first stage, I was obviously sort of choosing all my colours. I wasn't sure what I was going to use here. I decided to go with a sort of black base, because I figured that would, you know, go over the best. And I do apologise about my head being in the way. I thought the angle was all right. I'll have to get used to that, I think, a little bit. I'll have to sort of learn where best to sort of put my hand on my head so that I'm not exactly in the way. I'm not used to filming myself doing my nails, so unfortunately there's a lot of head footage, but I will try and get better at that. But as you can see at the moment, I'm just putting the base coat on. The product I use is Claw Culture. We're just a small English company, and you can sign up and get a subscription box from them if you want to, if you're in the UK. It's very reasonably priced. I used to get the subscription box. I used to get it for about a year, and I sort of built up my gel polish collection really quite quickly, because you get to choose 3 colours every month, so it's quite good when you don't necessarily want lots of different shades of the same colour. You know, you can be quite specific. And obviously I'm using, so this is one of their colours. This is their VIP Black. It's not usually my favourite to use, but it did work quite well on these actually. Needless to say, they're actually still on, so I have kept them on. I have kept this design for over a week actually. Like I say, I thought I would get bored with sort of dark nails after a couple of days. I thought once I was back at work that would be it. I'd want to go completely fresh, but as it's turned out, I've quite liked them. And what I actually did is I put the black on, and then what you don't see me do, so I'll explain it now, is that I used a cat eye polish, which I'd actually got the cat eye polishes for Halloween, and I really like them actually. There's so much you can do with cat eye polishes. I want to do a little bit more experimenting with them really, but what I did on this occasion was I used the black as a base, and then I did 1 coat of the silver cat eye polish. They're Mowbray ones. I don't think that Claw Culture have a lot of cat eye polishes in their collection. They're just mainly gel polishes. So these ones were just from Amazon. These are just the Mowbray collection, but I really like them. I mean, they weren't expensive and they go on really well. Anyway, so I used the silver, and then like I say, unfortunately you don't see me doing the effect, did one coat of silver, pulled the sort of effect to where I sort of was happy with it, cured it, and then I actually went over with a pink. Now the pink is incredibly sheer, so if you wanted sort of pink cat eye nails, you'd probably have to do a couple of coats with the pink and then do your final top coat to sort of get the effect. But when I sort of put it over the silver, it was quite nice and sheer, and you kind of got like a kind of really nice purpley galaxy effect. So it worked really well, and I quite liked how it came out. You do see the end result, like I say, so you will see that. So here I am now, just doing a little bit of touch up. Obviously with black is a very pigmented colour, so thin coats and build them up. And then I think what you don't see is what I did is I actually did an extra cure. So I was obviously curing in between sets and then doing a little bit extra on nails that needed it. And then I actually put the foam in separately as well for 60 seconds and gave the foam a separate cure. Most colours I don't need to do that, but with black I always find that I do need to just put the foam in on its own, which I did. And then I think I gave them all a final 60 seconds just to make sure, and they've actually been really good. So I haven't had any bubbling, any lifting, any rippling. So and in the end there was obviously quite a few coats of nail polish on them, so because by the time I put the cat eye on, 2 coats of cat eye and then the top coat, there was quite a few coats of nail polish on, so quite sort of thick, and then just going in there with a little orange stick just to sort of clean up any little mistakes around the cuticles. And that's one thing that I have got a lot better with, is applying nail polish. It is a little bit of an art. It's a lot harder than you think actually to put nail polish on well. And then just wiping away the residue there and any like bits of fluff or dust. I mean, you don't have to, you could go straight in with the next colour, but I think I did the right hand with the black, and then rather than completely finish the left hand, and then start on the right hand, I'd obviously decided to do all the black at the same time, so that I think I was sort of done with it. Usually when I would do my nails, I would do one hand completely and then I would do the other hand, because you never know if you've got time to do 2 hands in a row. But on this occasion I sort of just did it all in one go. So here we go, we're repeating the process here, just putting on the base coat, and then I'm going to go in with the black. So like I said, I was really pleased. I was actually quite pleased with how these came out. I thought they looked really good. I hate doing this. Is my right hand, so I'm having to do my dominant hand. I'm right-handed, so obviously when I hate putting gel polish on with the left, it's always so nervy. You can't see me doing that, because when I do the thumb, I like to sort of rest the thumb on the edge of the desk. It sort of holds it a little bit more secure, and then it's goes on a little bit better. So that's what you just can't see, but you don't necessarily need to see that. So yes, so like I say, this was my first video, not the most exciting one. Like I say, it was just really kind of a design change really, and I can kind of see that I need to you probably need to zoom in a little bit more so that you can sort of see what I'm doing in a little bit more detail, but you can kind of see what I'm doing. And obviously I'll probably be doing stuff that's a little bit more interesting, and maybe showing you the process of how I sort of put on and do sort of gel nails and different designs. This was kind of like a quickie and a little bit of a test, if I'm honest. I wanted to test. I'd like to sort of just share a few more of my own videos, and also making some of the press-on nails that I make. So like I say, I have an Etsy store called Ratchet Boutique where I make mainly press-ons. I'm starting to bring out some resin products, which I might do a short video for nail accessories. So the big diamonds that you can use if you like to photograph your nails and put them on Instagram, it gives you something nice to hold to really frame your nails. And I'll also be making sort of mixing palettes, because I kind of need a new mixing palette myself actually. Mine's getting a little bit grubby now, so I'm going to be making some of those, and they'll be coming very soon actually. I'm sort of really pleased with how they've been coming out, and they're all completely unique. They don't come out the same, and I don't really know how they'll come out. And if you have any questions, any of the products I'm using, any of my equipment, please feel free to ask. I just thought this was a good way for you to get to know me a little bit more, because it's a little bit difficult just using Instagram and sort of storefront. So just to show, this is my very simple setup at home, and and hopefully there's more to come. And I hope you enjoyed it. I know this one was a little bit basic. Hopefully the ones to come will be a little bit more, but this is just to show my progression really. Anyway, final cure, and then like I say, this was the final product. I was actually really pleased with how these came out, and as you can see, that top coat from Claw Culture is like glass. Anyway, thanks. Bye.